We are now in the middle of season 1 of the Soulful Restoration podcast. It's giving mid-season, it's giving halfway mile, and our theme was My Place in the World. Where has the podcast placed you in the world?
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy question. I didn't think of that one. Where's it placed me? Definitely outside my comfort zone. I'm like camping outside my comfort zone at this point in time. But it's also forced me to reflect a bit. The lessons learned, in the journey of living, but when you sit down and actually look at how far one has come, it's like, yeah, okay, no, man, a girl has lived. But also, I am deeply humbled by the impact it's made and the conversations it sparked. And also for people out there to also know that they're not the only ones going through something, even if they're alone in that particular moment. So for me, it has brought me closer to center. It has brought me closer to myself, and it has relieved me also. I feel like free. Yeah.
This season was really about introspection and looking deep within yourself, and just like pulling things out of yourself so that you can know your place in the world. What are 3 things that you think the season so far people should have or must have pulled out of themselves? Those 3 keywords or 3 key things.
First, belief. It's good and well to think you believe something because it's always been there, right? It's always been fed to you. You've never really critically analyzed why. I'm sold on one idea or the other. So the first thing that we wanted to unpack and really dig into or poke at with this season is definitely that belief, understanding that not everything you've been taught is truth, and you have to find your own truth. Because when the winds of life blow, only your personal belief will keep you anchored. It's not your mother's belief, your father's belief, your grandfather's, or even your people's. It's what you believe for yourself and what you know to be true. And the understanding, that's the second thing, understanding why it is you are the way you are and why things are the way they are and how you find yourself in that middle. For the most part, it's been hard for us, particularly African children, in the space where your understanding, particularly of yourself, is always subpar, right? Because of our history. It's always, I'm under than, I'm inferior to. But then unearthing our history and our heritage and our core essence, and you realize, actually, we are a great people. And we should start living as those great people. And also just coming to understand one another as humans, like realizing that no one is perfect, yes, but that's not an excuse not to show up. You are responsible for the parts you play and the parts you refuse to play. You are also responsible for. And then the third one, my favorite one ever, courage. A lot of things have been damaged within ourselves, within our families, within our societies, because we lacked the courage to show up. We lack the courage to ask the hard questions. We lack the courage to have the difficult conversations. And I think with this first part of the podcast, we are poking at that, having a conversation and realizing that the conversation starts with self. If you cannot talk to yourself and be true to yourself, you can't be true to anybody else. And your expectation of other people will be misplaced because you will want them to fulfill the parts of yourself that you haven't even fulfilled yourself. And that is a dangerous place to be, right? Because even with the essence of the concept of love, we want it from other people because we haven't found it in ourselves. And you can never replace that. So, yeah, this theme, this season, is starting to having those conversations with yourself before you can have them with the next person. Yeah.
Okay, so the number 5 usually symbolizes freedom, change, curiosity, adventures, and desires. What are some of the desires or some of the things to look forward to the rest of the season? Because we are on episode 5 now.
We are halfway. Even I don't know what to expect. And the reason I say I don't even know what to expect is because...
know, guys, just FYI.
Exactly.
We know, but we also don't know.
It's because we plan, all right? We plan and say, okay, these are the topics of discussion, but the spirit moves in a different way. Even on the day of recording, you will change your mind and say, okay, we had a script, we had a topic, but that's not what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
So, firstly, whatever is going to come, all I know is that it's going to be from an honest place. It's going to be a necessary conversation to have. And it's not going to be one to buy face. We're trying to get to the core and the essence of our being. We're trying to restore our identity. We're trying to recall our lost memories. And that is not a comfortable space. So I guess for the remainder of the season, we can expect to not be comfortable, but to find the truth and to be comfortable in that state of unknowing, right? And I think one of the most powerful things is the understanding that moving forward is not necessarily a linear process. So we are in that space of moving forward, but it might not seem that way because it's not a linear process. And let it take its time. It's okay for it to take its time.
Absolutely. Still on the number 5 and its symbolism. In physiology, it represents the 5 senses. So we're going to use the senses to describe the SR podcast. We're going to start with smell. What is the SR podcast supposed to smell like or remind you of what smell?
Whoo, sis. Wow, Amu. Get yourself a corner and sit there. What is
Guys,
this question?
She never knows the questions. She doesn't review them. So I love this segment a lot.
Sure. It should smell like the ocean.
Why?
It should smell like the ocean. Because that's the biggest body of water, but also the symbolism of the constant waves that come and the cleansing that comes with it and all that goes back. So it should definitely... And considering that the ocean has salt.
Yes.
Right? Preservative. So that's what it should smell like.
Maralaba, you know when you have a wound and
if you that's the
salt.
thing. That's the thing, right?
It's not nice, but it's necessary.
That salt in the water, you don't know you have a cut until you walk into the ocean and it starts to burn. You don't know you have some wounds in you until someone pokes at it.
Exactly.
And that's what this podcast is meant to do.
Absolutely. What is supposed to look like when I close my eyes and I visualize, or when I open my eyes, what am I supposed to see?
You should see... I want to say you should see everything and nothing at the same time. Because you should see yourself. And that looks different every time you close your eyes. So it should look like everything and nothing.
What should you hear?
You should be able to hear the unheard. There's a lot of noise in the world. There's a lot of opinions in the world, but truth is the most silent voice. So you should be able to hear the unheard.
Okay, and then how should it feel like when you touch it? Is it?
It should feel soft. It should feel soft. You know those baby blankets? It should feel soft. Because truth shouldn't be wounding.
It should be healing.
It should be able to embrace you. Dr. Makatini once said, truth is not there for us to accept. Truth has to accept us because it was there first. So it should feel like you are stepping into truth and it's embracing you. So it should feel soft.
Absolutely. Lastly, taste. What should it taste like? I was gonna say what's your favorite sweet that you can like it, but she doesn't have a sweet tooth. So what should it taste like?
It should taste healthy. And we all know what taste healthy
It's
tastes
not
like.
the green juice is not nice.
Like you can taste it tastes healthy. Like you'll eat something and like, yeah, this just tastes healthy. Like it's not you get used to it, but it's an acquired taste.
It's very acquired. Absolutely. Okay, that was really
Oh,
amazing.
that was hard.
Last but not least, what do you have to say to our viewers, our listeners, our followers so far this season? Their interaction, any words of encouragement, words of appreciation, words of things we don't like. Maybe they're there, but we love you guys. What would you like to say?
Ooh, firstly, let me say I love you guys. I loves you, okay? No, I really do. I really love you. I really appreciate you guys. I also would like to say to them, it's okay to not have all the answers, but I salute them for showing up every day. I want them to know, I want you guys, okay, the ones I'm talking to, I want you to know that your life is worth living. And I hope you never give up your will to live. And I want you to know that there is no biological mistake. So if you haven't found why you exist, it's another reason to keep living and find it. And to those who are going through a rough patch, know that this too will pass. You just have to go the distance. And moving on, I hope we continue to grow together. I hope we continue to hold hands. I hope through the introspection and the conversations we bring on this platform, you're able to take them into your world and have them with your people, have them with yourself. Because at the end of the day, I would like us to be a wholesome society.
Okay, let's use a flower as a metaphor just to close it off. I love roses. I love roses with all my heart. So let's look at the rose. What was our stem? What was our thorn? What was our bud? What was our fully grown blooming rose so far?
You know, I didn't do like life science and stuff, right? So I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Stem, what was our strength? Thorn, what was painful? Thorns are painful to cut and we bleed sometimes. What's our bud? What we're looking forward to? What's our bloom? What we've turned into? What is looking absolutely fabulous, colorful, and wonderful?
Fair. Our stem, I think, for me personally, has been spirit and letting spirit do what it does, but also the team. Y'all have held it down. We have camera, we have sound, we have behind the scenes people who are content, we have our social media managers, we have my co-producer. You guys have really held it down for us, and I really couldn't have done this without you. Also, all the people who I can't mention who kept on sowing the seed of this podcast. Much love. And then our thorns. There's a bit of a few thorns then. I'm kidding. I think the thorn for me, it's been having to be vulnerable to a certain extent, having to touch on the examples that I would have rather left unsaid because they're going to help the next person, right? Because the testimony also reminds you of the test, and sometimes you're not in the mood for that. But it also witness for somebody else to know that this too shall pass. So that's been a thorn. Then a lighter thorn, which is probably like a very small thorn, it's just the logistics. It's a lot. But it's getting smoother, so we're also budding on that one. Okay?
Absolutely.
We are doing a great job.
Absolutely.
The promise, which is like the budding part, the budding part for me is more people getting in touch with what we do. Not for us to grow the numbers, but for the message to get to more people.
Absolutely.
That's literally the most important part. Because we're all about touching one person at a time and then having that have a ripple effect. And then the bloom. The fact that we have had all these episodes is a blooming part.
Absolutely.
The fact that we have had all these episodes is definitely the blooming part for me.
That's it. Cut.
That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Till the next episode, take care of yourself. Take care of those around you and that which surrounds you. Peace. Bye for now. Cut.